Excellence Online. Subscribe to our channel now for more educational videos and press the bell icon for more updates.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Adnan Ahmed from Excellence Online platform. Today I'm going to teach you about drama section of first class. In first class we have two plays. One is the counter image. Second we have progress. We are going to discuss about progress and the different kinds of plays, types of plays, and like social play, comedy, tragedy, historical. One of them is melodrama. We have certain characteristics of melodrama. Melodrama is a kind of play in which one is suspense. We have suspense. We cannot have prediction at any stage what will be the next stage. In certain plays, in certain movies or matches or dramas, viewers, they can have prediction, they can predict, they can tell, they can forecast the next action basis of the present performance or present action. But here we cannot tell what will be the next step. This is called suspense. The counter image progress, the hostile witness, three plays in first class, three plays are a melodrama. They have suspense. Second, we have killing of one person. In all plays of melodrama, we have one characteristic that is called a killing of one person. At the end or in the starting, we have killing. In the counter image, we have killing of one person, that is the Count of Marshall. Here we have Professor Henry Corey, and similarly with other plays of melodrama. Last is short in length. A melodrama is not a lengthy play like Indian and Pakistani plays. It is short. It has only one episode or maximum two episodes. This is all about melodrama. In melodrama, we have three main points as we have discussed. Characters we are discussing. First, we have Professor Henry Corey, and second, Mrs. Madden. The main figure of this play are two figures, two characters. Mrs. Madden, Professor Corey. Both are siblings, and both are brother and sister. Both are different in nature, in hobbies, in characters, in towards the approach of life. Both are different people, right? Professor Henry Corey, Mrs. Madden. Further, we are discussing Mrs. Madden. She has two family members. Including her, there are three family members. One is Mr. Madden, Tom Eddy, and second we have Eddie, a son of Mrs. Madden, 19 years old. He was then in war, and her husband was Tom Madden. Mrs. Madden, the real name of Mrs. Madden is Charlotte. From husband's hand, Mrs. Madden. Hannah, a lady servant, quite aged lady. She serves Professor Henry Corey and nothing else. She has limited character. Then we have minor characters, Marshall and Gage. Marshall is driver, Gage is gardener. These characters. Progress, it was composed by Saint John G. Irving. Right? He composed many plays, many compositions which got universal name or fame. It was one of them. It got universal name and fame. Particularly those persons they didn't like World War I and II. They appreciated. It got universal name. It was telecasted. It was performed in different places all over the world. Mrs. Madden, we have two figures. Detailed discussion on these. Both are opposite in their natures and view towards life. One is anti-war attitude lady. The second is pro-war attitude person. Mrs. Madden, she lost her son and husband in war. Before World War I, she had family. But after World War I, she lost the family. First son, 19 years, he was died in war. A second husband, he couldn't bear the shock, the grief of his son, and he died. So directly, indirectly, both person died basis of World War I. Now her attitude and behavior is against her towards war. She has become anti-war attitude lady. A sensitive figure, but not complaining. She's quite sensitive. The word issues, personal issues, the problems of life touch her because she's sensitive. But she's not complaining lady. She didn't complain. It was a kind of pride. Her son died for the sake of her country. Number second, Professor Henry Corey, a professional scientist, dedicated scientist, devoted, committed scientist, a brilliant scientist, a bitter human. As a scientist, we can give him a huge titles, expertise. He had expertise in scientific invention. He tried his best to invent a bomb, which no other scientist had invented ever. So, brilliant scientist. Right? If you see as a human, he's not a good human. He is a bachelor. He didn't get married. He's away from the society. He didn't like casual visitors. As a social person, he's not good. As a scientist, he's a brilliant people. We have seen a social life and academic life. Number of people, they are good professionals. They are good doctors, engineers, pilots, professors. But as a human, as a family members, they are not as good as the professional. Number next is he invented a devastating bomb. His age is 50 to 60. He tried his best to dedicate his life towards science. Number next, commencement. The drama was started in a room. It was 1919 after World War I, and it was time of invention. Almost all scientists, they were busy in inventing a bomb, missile, or weapons. Government was supporting them, and they will be given prize, respect, honor, and finance. Henry Corey, as we can see here, in his room is busy or engaged in experimenting. For him, experiment is important for him than any other event of life. His age is 50 to 60. He's bachelor. He didn't get married. He didn't like females. He's isolated person. Hannah, lady servant. We have two central characters of the play. We have got another character, Hannah, a lady servant. She is not very important character, and initially you will see she serves Professor Henry Corey. She is servant there, and she has a conversation to Mrs. Madden. Good evening exchange. This she appears in the beginning, but later on we do not see any character. Mrs. Madden. Mrs. Madden is a reflection of the lady, 20th century, who suffered a lot after the World War I. There are hundreds and thousands of ladies who suffer due to the war damage and devastation. One of them was Mrs. Madden. She had a husband and son before World War started. After the World War in 1919, she lost both of them. She is alone. She has solitude and a bitter solitude. It's a kind of complaint that why she's alive. Why? Because both members of family, they died. Eddie, her son, died in war when he was 19 years old. So 19 years old Eddie, who was the life of Mrs. Madden, he died in the war. We have a huge detailed event. How did he die? And her husband could not bear the grief, the unhappiness, and the shock of the death of his son, and he died too. A basis of these two events, her feelings, emotions turned into anti-war attitude. Before she was not anti-war attitude, but after this event, naturally she didn't like war. Hopefully, this is only one part of the play. Inshallah, we will discuss next part too. Thank you.